What's up, guys? Pypo here, bringing you to me doing some flying cow action in Out of the Storm. Look at that flying cow. Oh my god! That flying cow is legit. In this video today, that's actually not that legit. There's like two other people coming. How'd they get so far forward? They land a lot closer than I land. It's bullshit. I'm gonna CC that stun just to get that guy off the flag there. We'll put burn cake on him as soon as I can, but luckily for me, I should have just got him just in time to make anyone get him. There we go. That was really close to us not getting that. I'm gonna put that explosive trap as soon as I can. But what I did want to talk about in this video is Game of Thrones and the amount of hype I have leading into the next season that's going to come out. If you don't know what Game of Thrones is, I don't know where you've been for the past 3 years. Like, this is just, it's fucking amazing. So if you don't know what it is, Game of Thrones is a storyline based on shitloads of characters. Like, I can't even explain how many characters in the movie, but it's basically about a war raging in landscape. It's a fantasy tale. It's fucking awesome. It's R-rated if you're Australian, so of course that means it's gonna be fucking good. It's got gore. It's got sex. It's got all the quality shit you want in a good show. But even more than that, it has like fantastic fucking characters. The guy who wrote this wrote the stories. The storyline of the books is called A Song of Ice and Fire, and it was written by George R.R. Martin. And George R.R. Martin is a fucking good writer, and the reason he's so good is because he never makes like white and black characters. He doesn't make white and black characters. It's not a thing that exists in his worlds. All that exists in his world is a character who's not, he's not good, he's not bad. It's all this, it's actually like an actual person, you know what I mean? That's why I like watching and like reading. I've read all the books, so I'm going to try and remain spoiler free, but I'm so hype. I'm like, the amount of hype I have for this fucking for this upcoming season is immense, because if you've read the books, you know that like some crazy shit's gone down and some fucking craziness has gone down already, but even more crazy shit, even more fucking Blade Storm in action, even more fucking shit than like has already happened is gonna like go down, and I can feel the rage and the hate coming from fucking people already. But you need to go pick up these books, and you need to go read, watch the show. I would honestly recommend reading the books. George R. R. Martin, honestly does almost a better job than the well, that's always the case, and everyone who's read the books always says the show's, you know, not as good or the movie's not as good, which is surprisingly, it's really close. It's really close in this case, because the shows are so good that it makes me almost forget how good the books are after I watch the series. But the books themselves are really good, and he actually goes into, there's certain little things in books that they can't put into movies, like the little details, the little thoughts in people's heads, those sort of things, and those sort of things in Game of Thrones is actually really telling of the tale, and it like helps you understand what's happening, and it makes you realize, you know, if this character is thinking this or thinking that. Whereas in a show, they have to try and like convey that through like a look in a person's eyes or some shit, and that completely depends on the actors. Which, not to mention, the actors in the show are surprisingly fucking good for a bunch of people that I didn't know existed. You know what I mean? Like, they found pretty much brand new actors for this stuff, except for a few handfuls. Obviously, the dwarf Tyrion is played by is it Peter Dinklage? I think he's the actor's name. Such a good fucking actor. I love that dwarf actor. Oh my god, he's honestly probably one of my favorite actors. And I like him because obviously I'd imagine it'd be hard for a person of that stature to come across as like threatening almost, and to come across as like, you know, someone you don't want to fuck with. But he pulls it off so well in the show, which is exactly what it's like in the books. And then again, what I'm talking about in the whole storyline being not black and white, he can come across threatening, and then again, when he's talking to different people, will come across as almost like a little mouse. Like he doesn't want to be in that situation, and he like really isn't someone to be threatened or to be threatened by. It completely changes through the storyline, and you actually watch the characters progress and change throughout the storyline. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Such a good series. You really need to pick this up. But what I just started watching today, while I've kind of been like looking for something to fill, because I don't know what happened to Walking Dead. Like, Walking Dead kind of shit the bed. It was good. The first season of Walking Dead was really fucking good, and the reason it was really good was because it had a certain writer, I forget what his name was, and he was directing the show, he's writing the show, he was good at what he did, and then they fired him. I'm pretty sure they fired him simply because they used him to get all these like other writing buddies on board and like to help them write the show and that kind of stuff. And once he got all those friends, actually like fucked the director off. It's some fucking bullshit. AMC is actually a really shitty network, and they do this a lot apparently to their writers, and it's not really good for anyone. Except the AMC were trying to make, save money, but of course, in the act of trying to save money, they fucking lost people, and it just, the show went to shit. I watched the first season, I watched the second season. I haven't not touched anything else on that since then, because I lost. It's the whole governor thing. When the governor thing started, I finished. I was like, yeah, I'm not into this whatsoever. The governor is not someone I want to watch. It's not an interesting storyline. It's kind of generic bullshit. Like, here's an enemy, here's the good people, who's gonna win? Like, That's why I like Game of Thrones. It's not here's good people, here's bad people. It's just here's people. You know, you have to decide for yourself who you want to win. You have to decide for yourself, and then when you decide, people actually like you change your mind later on because of something they did, and it's awesome. It's awesome. And obviously, everyone has their favorite character in Game of Thrones. Mine's fucking Arya Stark for reasons I can't explain because it's later on in the books and that she becomes like a badass. Also, I should mention that someone actually sent me this Phoenix hatchling. I called him Grandpa because I think his name was like Grandpa Heels. Grandpa Heels sent me. Are we getting 4 cats right now? This is me doing BGs by myself, by the way. I say this in nearly every BG I do now that I do it by myself. Horde do not win BGs when you play by yourself. I get sick of Alliance complaining all the time. Horde win all BGs. We can't win. Horde win BGs because Horde group together. And this is when I see, for instance, when I do this BG by myself, we're not winning. This is what happens. I'm not assuming that Alliance have a group or some shit, and I'm not saying that Horde don't win the majority. Like I'm sure we might win like 60%, but everyone seems to put it way out of proportions. Like Horde Horde win like literally 90% of all BGs. It's not the case at all. And of course, Alliance have AV and Olive Conquest that they never lose. Like that is I think it's literally impossible for an Alliance to lose AV. Is it possible for them to lose that? I'm not too sure. Getting a 1 second fear here. That's a brilliant fear there. I want to silence him there. This is an Affliction Warlock. I don't even know why people play Affliction. Is it good? I don't think it is. Trying to get this base here. He just popped the fucking Soulstone. I did not realize for a second there. Soulstone's really good. Like, you get a lot of health back for it. Is he flying off the edge? Oh, please just fly off the edge. That'd be badass. I thought he was just going to go straight off the edge. My planet needs me and fly off. That mount, man. I still don't know. I don't know about that mount. I don't know. I keep looking at it and I think it looks like good, and then I'll look at its run animation. I do not like it. Anyway, so yeah, pick up Game of Thrones if you haven't already watched it. I definitely go in and check that shit out because it is the sickest. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. I got pissed off so much because I had a friend who said I don't like old-timey bullshit. Like, I assumed that it was like olden day like bullshit, which obviously it is. It doesn't have the technology of present day, but it's a fantasy. You can't apply real-life terms to a fantasy world. It's like, there's fucking magic and shit in this fucking thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's not the same, it's not Earth. This is a completely different fantasy world. I think it's called the, I can't believe I forget shit about this. Westeros? That's what it's called. It's set in Westeros. You know, this isn't a real place, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. And it really pisses me off when people, like, say shit like that. It's not old-timey. It's good. Anyway, the other show that I started watching before I trailed off into saying Walking Dead is shitty because it got shitty is Hannibal. Oh my god, Hannibal is good. I've watched the first maybe 3 episodes, and this fucking show, it's been a long time since I watched like a crime show thing, mainly because crime shows are kind of generic and they're all the same, and oh my god, who's the killer? We don't know who it is, and then someone finds out who it is, and every single like crime show has this little twist in it, like this guy's a psychopath as well, and that's why he can find killers, and oh my god. Or like I watched a bit of Dexter, and Dexter's first couple seasons really good. Last season of Dexter sucked ass. Oh my god, it was bad. Such horseshit. But this one, it might just be like my personal preference, but I've always been interested in psychopaths and murderers and in serial killers and of course cannibals, and it's about Hannibal Lecter, which, if you know nothing about Hannibal Lecter, is one of the most interesting people to read about ever, at least in my opinion, because I'm just always interested in like that facet of life. You never get to see that facet of life anywhere. Like, hopefully you never get to see it in like your day-to-day life, because it's not something that is very common, and because of that, it's super interesting to me to see how like this person functions. Not to mention, just like it's just like that. It's almost like majestic violence, for lack of a better term, of this whole like it's almost like glorified, and it's glorified because that's the way these cannibals or these serial killers look at it. And not only that, I like the whole like psych profile of it, how it's them, for instance, in the first case in the show, sorry if this is spoilers, they find a body and they find out that the body is actually like an apology for something, and it's like just that whole like, who the fuck kills someone as an apology, like, you know what I mean, like that whole thing. To me, that's like, it's super interesting, and I really like it. Not only that, the main character's good, the actor's good, the acting is fantastic. For me, I mean, I'm really bad with movies and shows where if an acting is even a little bit bad or off, I can't watch. Like I immediately, because when I'm sitting there, it takes so much for me to like get out of my own head, if that makes any sense. Like usually when I watch a movie, and it's one of the main reasons why I like scary movies, because oh god, disengage. It's on cooldown, but I think it knocked up anyway. A lot of scary stuff I cannot get into. I can't get into it because I'm in my own head thinking, alright, there's a jump scare coming, it wasn't scary, that monster looks shitty, why is she crying now, why'd she go in there, this makes no fucking sense, no one would do this movie is stupid. That's how I think when I'm watching a movie. Or like, for instance, why is she going in there, why did she just act like that, she said that line poorly, why did they hire her? I'm literally thinking this kind of stuff while I'm saying that I'm watching a movie. Because of this, it's really hard to get into, which is why I actually really like really good scary movies and scary games. Because scary movies and scary games, it kind of gives you like that, it takes you out of that like in your own head thing. Like for me, I get stuck in my own head so much. Like I'll just be sitting here like watching something, and then maybe like a jump scare will happen, and it'll make me stop thinking in my head. I'll be scared, so I'm like, oh shit, I just got jump scared. And then if the movie continues on being good, then I'm out of my own head. I'm actually paying attention because now I'm thinking, oh shit, I don't want to get jump scared. You know what I mean? That's why I love that. And I get the same thing from Game of Thrones, which is incredible because that's a story-driven like thing. The story's that good that it makes me stop thinking about like the actors, and the acting's that good that I don't actually think about how bad they are. And I enjoy it thoroughly. It might be because I read the books. You know what I mean? Like I always enjoy reading a book and then watching it afterwards because I always enjoy seeing how they interpret it onto the screen. But and one of the poorest examples of that was Aragon. There's a storyline. I think it's 3 books. 3 books, and it's pretty much Star Wars with dragons. It's about a guy whose father's evil and is dead, and his mother raised him, and then he finds out this is happening, and then some dude who's on the right side raises him up, and he has a dragon. But it's good. I mean, it makes me sound like I'm saying it's bad. It's not. It's written by like a 14-year-old kid. Well, at least the first book was written by like a 14-year-old kid, and that's why I kind of picked it up because it was like I was really surprised at how good this was. I sat there reading it, and it was so good. And then after I finished reading like the second book or the third book, I heard that the movie was coming out, and then I got super hyped for the movie. Went to the movie theaters, watched it, and they skipped like the first 50% of the book. The first 50% of the first book they skipped, like the whole like him fighting the dragon, raising the dragon, getting to know the dragon, finding out how to ride the dragon. Skipped all that. And the way they skipped it is by the dragon pops out of an egg, goes in the sky, grows to full size, goes back down. That's literally what happened. And I'm just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Not only that, the actors were shit. No one was good. It was horrible. And not only that, I watched the behind the scenes for it, and everyone who's there on the behind the scenes is sitting there saying like, this is gonna be the next Harry Potter franchise or Lord of the Rings. Everyone's gonna come watch all these movies. It's gonna be fantastic. And then of course the first movie comes out, they never make another one because it did horribly, and I'm not surprised it did horribly as fuck, because it was just like, if it did well, I would have lost faith in humanity. It was so bad, and it crushed me a little bit. It crushed me a little bit how they fucked up such a good franchise of books into like a shitty movie. Like, oh my god, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And that it immediately, like as I was saying before, that I couldn't help it when I was watching that movie, sit there and all I was thinking was like, this is bad. The acting. Why can't I mount? Come on. This is bad. The acting's bad. Where is my mount? Come on. Why am I still in combat? There we go. Jesus Christ, Blizz. Let's keep Pypo in combat for 7 years. And like, I just couldn't get out of my own head thinking about how shitty the fucking movie was. And I hate that. I do it a lot, even for non-shitty movies. I'll think that, and it takes a lot to get me out of my own head and to start thinking about things in that world, in that storyline. But when that happens, it's amazing. It might be because I watch way too many movies and I watch too many shows, and because I like know a lot about movies, and I just like I can always tell like where a movie is going. The amount of times I've been like watching a movie with someone, and then I'll just like I'll say an offhand comment like, "Oh, I think this is about to happen," and then it literally happens. Like for instance, there's a scary movie I watched about people recording ghosts in a house. I forget what it's called. It was kind of The Conjuring. It was The Conjuring. And they go downstairs. I'm sorry about spoilers. They go downstairs because this chick is possessed. She's downstairs and they're performing an exorcism. And halfway through the exorcism, everything stops. And once everything stops, I'm like, well, obviously she's going to start floating and some crazy shit's about to happen. And then, of course, she starts floating and some crazy shit starts to happen. Stuff like that that's predictable takes me immediately out of the movie. Like, it's not... It immediately takes me out of the movie. And that's why, and it sucks because it's almost like there's so many movies, so many shows, that there isn't anything they can do now that will catch me off guard, which is almost why I turn to gory and violent stuff, because gory and violent stuff, even though it's been done before, it's still kind of shocking, I guess. Like for instance, in Hannibal, there's a few scenes where, for instance, people get their throats cut and it's very graphic and they're bleeding from their throats and stuff like that. Because it's so graphic and I'm so interested in it and watching it and watching the person act it, it doesn't matter that it's something I've seen before. It doesn't matter that it's something that's not new. I'm still interested in how the person is reacting to having their throat cut, if that makes any sense. And that's why I like the violent stuff, I like the serial killer movies, and I like the crime shows, because that's where you find this stuff most commonly. I'm just running away from this place right here. Getting stuck between a healer and a bunch of people is not good. I think they just have healers and we don't. We have 2 healers. I wonder how many they have. It's really not good. Healers literally carry games. I've recently got an 85 Resto Shami and an 85 Mistweaver Monk. I'm actually super interested if you guys can tell me which one you think would be better for playing at 90 or even 100 maybe, because I don't know where. I want to level up like one of everything. You know, I want to get up a tank, I want to get up a healer, and then I want to get up a well, I shouldn't say tank. I want to get up a melee, I want to get up a healer, and I want to get up, obviously, my Hunter, which is, the Hunter's already up. I'm leveling a US Hunter as well, by the way, on Wimmer's the Cord. It's just going to be called Pypo. I'm not planning on RPing on him. I do have an RP character over there, Glimpse, my rogue, but I barely RP. Like, RP is something that interests me because, again, it's almost like an interactive storyline that you're making with somebody else, and again, it can make you actually think, and because you're creating it, it's easier to get out of your own head, at least for me. Because of that, I enjoy it, but I'm quite bad at it. I have a good imagination, but my typing skills and my vocabulary is shit tier. So a lot of times I find myself searching for a word that I can't find in my own head. But other than that, I should have a few more characters coming soon. I actually do have a rogue video that might be up already of me just being bad at a rogue. Oh my god. Topping damage as always, and we still lose the fucking BG. Not much I could do there. Let me know what you guys think about these shows, and let me know if I should be playing a Resto Shaman or a Mistweaver Monk. I'm not too sure. I don't know what to pick there. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Have a video, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.
Pypo, don't do it! Come to your senses, Pypo, now! Ah! Blast